record. Okay, we're recording now. I always forget to start it, but I haven't really said anything. All I did was I reviewed comparative advantage briefly and absolute advantage. Okay, absolute advantage when you can produce the most stuff. Comparative advantage when you have the lowest opportunity cost. So, oh wait, let me share the computer sound. And let me get rid of the video panel. And here we go. Opportunity cost. Can you see my screen? Did I share the screen? I mean, can you see where it says lectures, video lectures? Opportunity cost?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Thanks.
This video introduces one of the most important and useful concepts in economics, opportunity cost. Let's begin at a college football stadium just outside Boston. Partly, I was here in my capacity as sports nut. Touchdown! One of the many fans following the fortunes of the Boston College Eagles. But the armchair economist in me was looking for more than an easy win. Seeing that so many people had chosen to spend their day cheering their favorite team to victory, I wondered first about the economic benefit these fans placed on attending the game.
Let's say I offered each of you, I said, I'm going to buy your ticket. You can't go to the game.
How much would you offer?
$10.
Not worth it.
Would anybody take 15?
No.
75?
No.
80? If I give you 80?
I'd take 80. I set my limit at 100.
Let's say I offered you $100 for your ticket.
I don't think so, Charlie. I don't see that. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
$500.
No.
$600.
No.
Come on. I'd give you $600 right now.
No, this is my day. This is it, yeah.
So if I'd offer you $10,000, you literally wouldn't do it?
No. No.
No price?
No price.
Now, maybe this guy's ticket really is priceless. We'll check in with him later to find out. But whether his or any of the other fans' economic thinking is sound depends on whether the benefit is equal to or greater than the cost, the total cost. In economics, what's known as the opportunity cost. Everything which is given up to get something else. In this case, what's given up to attend this game. How does an economist look at opportunity cost? We asked Professor Mary Stevenson of Boston College's rival, the University of Massachusetts.
Well, it's the single most important concept in economics. It's the choices that we have to make and what we sacrifice when we make a choice. For many of us, we have hard choices to make about how we're going to spend our limited money. But even for people who have lots more money than we do, there's still the question of how you're going to spend your time. Even somebody like Bill Gates has to make choices about how to spend his time because he has the same hours in the day that the rest of us do.
In other words, the practical implication of scarcity in economics is that everything we do has a cost, an opportunity cost. Suppose, for example, that we asked Nobel laureate economist Robert Solow to speak to your class. In economic terms, how would he analyze it?
I say to myself, what would I do with the time and trouble that it's going to take me to prepare for this class, give the class, answer the questions, come back home, take a shower, and settle down for the evening. And that will give me a number. Suppose I can value that time and trouble. The thing I would do instead of doing that is something that I would pay $1,000 to do. Then what I should say is that any price over and above $1,000 makes this a net gain for me. That doesn't say I should ask for a $1,000 fee. I should ask for the largest fee that I think the sucker will pay. But if that largest fee is not as much as $1,000, then I won't go.
As it turns out, this is a rather old idea, as we learned from the man on the $100 bill, Ben Franklin, who expressed it somewhat differently in the late 1700s.
You, sir, once wrote that time is money. And 250 years later, it's become a cliche. What was it exactly that you wrote?
Well, it was somewhat more than that.
in my little epistle, Advice to a Young Tradesman.
In the pamphlet Advice to a Young Tradesman, which Ben published himself in 1748, he coined the famous phrase, using as his example a worker who usually makes 10 shillings a day, but chooses to work only half a day, then hits the pub and spends 6 pennies there.
Remember that time is money. He that can earn 10 shillings a day by his labor and goes abroad or sits idle 1/2 of that day, though he but spends but 6 pence during his diversion, ought not to reckon that the only expense. He has really spent, or rather thrown away, 5 shillings besides.
So your point is that time is money in the sense that he's foregone the 5 shillings he would otherwise have made.
He has not the opportunity, right.
Ah, and they now call that opportunity cost, you know.
No, I've not heard of that. Opportunity cost.
The cost of having been idle when he could have been earning money.
Ah, I see your point. I see your point.
I think it was your point, sir.
Now, the concept of opportunity cost includes all the resources that go into any course of action. Cash out of pocket, time, energy, and so forth. Resources both hidden and obvious, translated into the coin of the realm in economics, money. Resources that I could have used to do something else. So the opportunity cost of going to the game is the value to me of what I could have done instead. And this is crucial since the basic premise of economics is trade-offs. The idea that you can't have it all. So what opportunities am I missing if I'm at the BC game?
You could have been at the Nutmeg Ballet, or you could have been at a nightclub. We all have choices to make, and every choice involves giving up something else.
If you choose one of them rather than the other, the opportunity cost of doing that thing is the one that you don't do, the option that you don't take.
And what it's worth to you.
And what it's worth to you, its value to you.
Solo uses the example of this very course.
The opportunity cost of the time and trouble you're spending taking this course is precisely the best activity that you would substitute for it if you decided you couldn't. Imagine that it got canceled. Imagine that the course went up in smoke somehow. You would have so many hours a week on your hands. There is one best thing that you would decide to do with that time. So in effect, you're sacrificing that in order to take the course, and that's your opportunity cost.
People often forget this, though, right? I mean,
people, first of all, they think of cost only as purely monetary. They don't have the notion that there's a scarce resource, often their own time and effort, and to use it in one place is not to use it in another. And when you're not using when you're not doing something that you could have done, you are sacrificing that thing. You're giving it up, and that's your cost.
There's one last small matter to resolve. That fanatic at the football game. When we forced the issue, it turns out that even he had a price.
No, but if I offer you $1 million for your ticket.
I might do that, yeah.
Might do that because for anything at some price, the opportunity cost for practically anyone simply becomes too high.
All right, well, we can't leave opportunity cost without the opportunity cost rap. Here we go, just a minute or so.
Yo, what's up, y'all? I'm about to tell y'all a little story about opportunity cost. So just the other day I'm lounging around in my boxes. It's not real productive cause I also go to college. I gotta go to college cause my dream is building rockets. I know that's tight, but the opportunity cost is how when I lounge around, feet never leave the ground. I should be studying, but books are nowhere to be found. Have a huge final that's due real soon. I partied last night and I slept till noon. Seems my dream is the real opportunity cost. of not working hard and sleeping a lot. I had so much free time that I could devote, but I threw it away, now I got no hope. Opportunity cost, make the right choice so the opportunity's lost. Opportunity cost, make the right choice so the opportunity's lost. Opportunity cost. Eugene, where's my music, Eugene?
Maybe the real opportunity cost here was you playing video games all night instead of you charging your iPod.
No, Eugene, no, give me the camera,
Okay, there you go. The opportunity cost of your time. Huge. Well, we've got one more thing I want to cover here before we move on. Specialization. We've been talking a lot about specialization and exchange. That's what this is about. Specialize in the area. We have a higher standard of living if we specialize in the area where we have a comparative advantage. Why does that work? Why do we get this added boost from specialization? Well, here we go. Here's a little bit more about specialization.
As Adam Smith pointed out back in 1776, an efficient economy depends on specialization. He used the example of a humble pin. Someone with no experience, Smith figured, could make, 20 a day tops. But Smith had been to a factory where he'd actually seen specialization in action, what he called the division of labor. 10 men with specialized machinery turning out 48,000 pins a day, 4,800 per person. More than 200 years later, Professor Catherine Ness likes to demonstrate the same point by having students make not pins, but the anonymous manufactured product economists call a widget.
A widget is what I get when I take a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, I fold it in half, I fold it a half again, and I put one staple on the corner.
15 seconds.
That's a widget. And I have one person make as many widgets as they can in 20 seconds. And I get a second person up, and a third person up. And eventually you'll begin to see that as more and more people work on widgets, that we'll get real increases in our productivity as we share tasks and divide the labor up.
A productivity increase would be more widgets given the same amount of labor.
13. This does not count as a widget.
2, 1, go.
So we staged our own widget productivity test. 4 teams, different colored paper. Would 3-person teams turn out more widgets per person than widget soloists at the end of the table?
8 seconds. Come on, Husky, you gotta move faster. Move fast, dude.
3.
Well, the soloists averaged 7 in the first 2-minute round, even with strict quality control.
6, 7. This one doesn't count. See how you can see all 4 edges?
At first, the 3-person teams averaged only 5 widgets per person. Their sole competitive edge, louder complaints about rejects.
Oh, come on! No, come on!
So the soloists started off ahead, perhaps because they had no startup costs deciding who should do what. But a key point of the division of labor is getting the people best suited to different jobs to do them. And you can only do that with groups.
Maybe they should identify the weakest link.
We're gonna let Muhammad staple because he
I'm
really
a very
likes
good
it.
folder.
In fact, Muhammad had folded as a folder. But at least he'd be keeping the work here in America.
We're gonna buy our widgets from China for 2 cents a piece.
But time for another round.
1, go.
By now, the 3-person teams had specialized by switching their nimblest workers to folding. And specialization led to technology breakthroughs, like folding more than 1 sheet at a time. There was a $10 per person bonus for winning, and everyone here was intent on getting it, one way or the other.
We have a union. We will after this. If we get a union, maybe we can get up to $12.
At the end of the last round, one soloist was up to 8.
8, yes! My world record.
5, 6, 7.
The other soloist was still at 7. Specializing through the division of labor, though, had boosted the green team to the same level of productivity. 7 per person. And the pink team?
24, 25, 26.
So the pink team averaged 8.6 widgets per person, breaking the world widget productivity record.
Any big lessons from today?
I feel much better, especially since when I was on my own, I got 4.
And of course, specialization had just begun. But the last word on the division of labor is as profoundly obvious as it is short and sweet.
Practice makes you better.
Yeah.
Or perhaps, to put it in economic terms, specialization makes you practice. And that's a lot of what human specialization is about. As practice has made us humans better at work, we've been able to get more and more from our labor. Consider a car. Up until the 1920s, it took so long to make one, a car was a product for the rich. But the Ford Motor Company created a factory where workers could dedicate themselves ever more narrowly to their specialized tasks. The pace may have been relentless, the work dreary, but workers made so many high-quality Model T Fords that the company could pay them higher wages than ever. Higher wages, lower costs. For the first time, auto workers could afford the very cars they built. Dan Hammermesh of the University of Texas claims the fruits of the division of labor are everywhere.
Boy, is that good. Boy, is that. Do you realize what it takes to make this thing? I mean, look at it. It's got plastic for the spoon, right? And for the cup. And the plastic is clearly made with oil, okay? And the oil has to come probably, maybe from the U.S., maybe the Middle East, brought here, refined, shipped to the plastic factory. The plastic is then made, molded, shipped to the ice cream store, okay? That's the first part. Just think of the steps involved with that. And then the ice cream here must come from a dairy, probably pretty near the ice cream store. It's not a national market in dairies. But then has to be made somewhere at the ice cream factory from milk with other stuff that goes in it into ice cream. And finally, if you notice, there are little, this is allegedly a strawberry sundae, and there are little bits of strawberry, they're probably pretty far away from the strawberries. This had to be grown from strawberries somewhere. It could have been who knows where in the United States. So the strawberries as the raw materials, the milk as the raw materials, the oil as the raw materials, all brought together, made into this absolutely delicious strawberry sundae.
In fact, without specialization, our modern standard of living would be impossible. Imagine how much it would cost you to make your own refrigerator, your own shoes, even a lowly pencil, which you can buy for pennies. The wood is usually California cedar, the eraser made from South American rubber and Italian pumice stone, the graphite, a patented mixture from Mexico and Sri Lanka. Geographic specialization is why world trade, this Texas pencil was actually made in Japan, increases world wealth through a division of places in addition to a division of labor. Each place specializes in what it does better than others, given what people want. And that makes economists like Michael Salemi happy.
The soils in Tuscany tend to make wonderful wines. It's the ground. That guy's ground. Somehow the minerals in it, whatever. Could you imagine taking a special vineyard in Tuscany that's capable of producing a great Chianti Classico, for example, and opening a parking lot on it? Well, no. I mean, you wouldn't. We specialize. We specialize so that that particular individual who has a special resource that's so much better for winemaking than for other uses makes the wine. A market system will do that.
All right. Well, got specialization and exchange. You can think of that as a technology. You not only you pick the area of your lowest where you've got the lowest opportunity cost or a comparative advantage. But as you specialize, the practice, you get better and better and better, and you've got added productivity to that. So the key, one of the keys to a higher standard of living, and you see across the world that those who are more specialized in what they do and trade have higher standards of living, everything else equal, everything else the same, as places who are more self-sufficient individually. They do everything. They farm, they hunt, they build their own houses, they do, make their own clothes, and make, the whole bit. Okay. So let's move forward a little bit with analyzing the terms of trade and why we trade, putting some numbers to it. Here we go with DW and Arthur.
In this segment, we're going to talk about the terms of trade. Before we get into that, let's review a little bit. This is where we left off in the last video. Let's see. We've got here, we've got Arthur with the comparative advantage in bikes, DW comparative advantage in web pages. And how did we figure that out? Remember, comparative advantage is the one who has the lowest opportunity cost. With Arthur, let's start with web pages. With web pages, Arthur, if he produced 3 web pages, he gave up 12 bike repairs to do it. We want to know what one web page cost them. So we divide through. That becomes -4. And we put this 1 under here just to remind us that that's a ratio and makes it a little easier to analyze. So, one web page costs Arthur 4 bike repairs. All right? DW, one web page, costs her 1 bike repair. Well, who has the lowest opportunity cost? DW. It only costs her 1 bike repair to produce a web page. Costs Arthur 4 bike repairs to produce a web page. So DW, comparative advantage in web pages. Arthur with bikes. Well, let's go with bikes now. Now, we had here, remember we put the good we're talking about, the one we want the opportunity cost of, in the denominator, because the denominator always becomes a 1. Now we're talking about bikes. So now we have bikes in the denominator. And we went through the same thing, and we found that 1 bike repair costs Arthur 0.25 web pages, whereas 1 bike repair costs DW 1 web page. So it's in bike repair. Now let's take a second to look at a couple of things. If you're paying attention here a little bit, you'll notice that this change in bike divided by change in web is simply the slope of the curve. Okay? And same here. This is just the reciprocal of this. And so once we've calculated 1 opportunity cost, all we have to do is take the reciprocal of this to get this. 4 divided by 1 would be 1 divided by 4 equals 0.25. So just notice this is the reciprocal of this. So once you've calculated this, just take the reciprocal to get this. All right. Well, the terms of trade. We've got Arthur with the comparative advantage in bikes, DW the comparative advantage in web pages. So if they were smart and they wanted to, do the best they can for themselves, Arthur would specialize in producing bikes, and then if he wanted a web page, he'd purchase the web page from somebody else. Well, here's DW. DW should specialize in producing web pages, and if she wanted a bike repair, she could purchase it from somebody else. What would work? Well, let's see. We have Arthur. He produces a web page at a cost of 4 bike repairs. If he could purchase then 4 bike repairs, he'd be better off. Okay, now let me stop for a second and talk about money. There's no money here. Okay, we're in a very simple economy, barter economy. Money has been, some form of money has been invented by all but the very most primitive societies to facilitate trade, because barter economies are extremely expensive in terms of transaction costs. You have to find a double coincidence of wants. That means I have to find someone who has what I want and wants what I have. Well, that takes a lot of effort. So right now, don't worry about money. We've got 2 goods that are being produced and traded. So what we've got here is Arthur can produce a web page at a cost of 4 bike repairs. If he can purchase a web page from someone else instead of producing it himself for less than 4 bike repairs, that's kind of our money here, is the bike repairs, if you will. He's made a gain, right? He can buy it elsewhere for less than he can produce it himself. DW, here she's can produce a web page by giving up 1 bike repair. Well, if she could produce a web page and then sell it for someone else for more than 1 bike repair, she's made a gain. She's able to produce and sell something for more than the opportunity cost of producing it. So she's better off. Well, it looks like there's an opportunity for both of these people to make a gain. So as long as the price of web pages is somewhere between 1 and 4 bike repairs, both Arthur and DW will be better off. Okay. I know. You don't have to tell me I can't write. All right. Between 1 and 4 works. All right. Any price between 1 and 4, Arthur and DW are both better off. and of course the indifference point would be 4 for Arthur. If he can buy it for 4, buy the web page for 4 bike repairs, he's neither better off or worse off. And the indifference point for DW is 1 bike repair. She can sell it for 1. She's just not making a gain, but she's not making a loss either. Well, let's assume that the price of 1 web page is 2 bike repair. Okay. 1 web page, that's the market price. Now don't confuse the market price. The prices which we're buying and selling. The opportunity cost is what we give up to get something, to produce this in this case. So we're producing web pages, and the market price is 2 bike repair. Would Arthur and DW be interested in that? Yes. As far as trading, yes, and they're both better off. Again, let's look. 1 web page costs Arthur 4 bike repair if he were to produce a web page himself. However, if we could instead buy 1 web page for only 2 bike repairs, he's made a gain of 2 bike repairs. Okay, he's better off. He's definitely interested in purchasing this web page for less than it costs him to produce himself. DW is also interested. She can produce a web page for 1 bike repair. That's her opportunity cost. Would she be interested in turning around and selling that web page for 2 bike repair? She's made a gain. She's doubled. She sold it for twice what she could produce it for. So yes, she's interested. This is why it's smart to specialize in the area of comparative advantage and trade with those for other goods who are also specializing in what their comparative advantage.
Okay, so specialization and exchange in action. If the price is higher than your opportunity cost of production, hey, you make a gain. If the price is lower than your by producing and selling it, if the price is higher, or excuse me, lower than your opportunity cost of production, you're better off buying it from someone else. And both are better off. That's why we trade. In a nutshell, there it is. We talked when we first started this thing, why do I buy my bread at Wegmans? Why did I buy a Dodge Caravan instead of making one myself? Because the opportunity cost would have been enormous for me to build my own car. I would have had to study how to make a car. I would have had to buy all the equipment, and I mean, my goodness, that would have been expensive to try to do that myself. So, well, we've got one more little thing to cover here: consumption possibilities. I think I'll wait till next time. Next time we've got an economics unit. We'll talk about a little bit about international trade. And right now we're just talking about trade in general. And what I want to do right now is save some time here, guys. If is anyone having any trouble getting going on MindTap? We want to deal with that now.
Yeah, I got a question. So when you click check my answer in the quizzes, you can see how many times we click it. Is our grade affected by how many times we click it?
Hold on a second. I'm trying to, I am trying to, go? Hide meeting controls, hide. Well, anyway, I can't see you. This is a thing about, I thought well, okay. Anyway. How many, oh, here we go. Well, that was probably it right there. Ah, okay. Yeah, I need to hire a Zoom expert. There's where some specialization and exchange might come in handy here. You check your answer. No, I mean, well, okay. So you do the question again. It averages your score. That's, well, I thought we talked about that, but I guess we better talk about it again. In fact, I've got this little thing in here somewhere called warning, warning, warning. No, it's not there. It's in chapter 3. Well, I thought I did. Yeah. Here in the lectures in chapter 3, warning, warning, warning. That here's the thing. You get 3 shots at the homework problems. And it will average your grade. Let's say you go through and you get 0 the first time because you don't study, you don't practice, you don't do anything. You're trying to back into the right answer. And then you figure it all out, and then the next time you get 100. Okay? This is your second attempt. You're going to end up with a score of 50. So the incentive is to study and do the homework problems the very last thing you do. That's why that's done that way. However, I've got it set on a mode called do no harm, meaning you cannot go down if you try it again. You can only go up. So let's say you got 95%. But there's this one question you really want to have another shot at, but you're scared if you screw it up, it's going to lower your average, right? Because it could. Let's say you just totally blew it, and you blow your 95%, and it brings down your average to, say, 90 or 85 or whatever. You don't want to risk it, right? And that's rational. You can't go down, okay? The do no harm setting means you can attempt it, you can only go higher. You can't go down. So you preserve your 95, and that's why it's set that way. It's to encourage you to give it another shot. You can only go up, but they are averaged. They are averaged. So it's averaged, and you can raise your score by trying it again, but you can't go down. What else is out there on your minds? Anyone else? Trouble with Mind Tap? Is everybody in?
I think that he was talking about the quick quizzes, because for
the quick quizzes.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Absolutely do those a million times if you want. Yeah, you can. Those you should be getting perfect scores on that. You can do those over and over and over and over without any problem with your grade. Yeah. So those won't. Those are not averaged. Not averaged. Those are designed just to kind of help as you read the book. You stop for a minute and it quizzes you on some of the stuff you just read, and then you can move on. But yeah, if you miss one, go back and do it again. Go back and do it again until you get a perfect score, and that's your score. So the quick quizzes are set up a little differently that way. So yeah, sorry, I wasn't sure which one you were talking about. Thank you for clarifying. What else is on your mind? This is, we're not gonna go any further into trade today. We'll wrap it up on Thursday though. We're gonna wrap it up on Thursday. I just thought we've been pushing hard the last few times. I wanted to take and catch our breath here and make sure I gave you plenty of time to ask questions or anything. And if you have a question on a problem, contact me. I can work these problems. In fact, Thursday we're going to go over a problem, a rather complicated one, just step by step by step. It's tedious as can be. It's irritating as can be because it's so tedious. But we're going to do it. This stuff tries your patience as much as anything. And another advice is to make sure you don't try to do this in your head. You've got this stuff on the screen. You got to write stuff down. You can't keep track of it just in your head. So that's some advice right off the top. Okay, what else? What else? I'm just blabbering on here. Anything else? Nothing? You want to get out of here? Or do you want to do more economics? What do you want to do? I want to give you your money's worth. It's almost noon.
I'm kind of having a problem logging into MindTap. It's not letting me go through at all for a while.
So you're going to, let's see, here in chapter 1, you're clicking on this thing, huh?
Yep.
Okay. What is it doing?
It's saying that, hold on, let me find it.
One thing you might do is try another browser. Often students, it works with another browser. I use Chrome.
Yeah.
Didn't have any trouble with Chrome.
I'm on a MacBook and I used Safari and it was telling me Cengage content launch has been blocked. So then I downloaded Chrome and it's still giving me the same issue. I don't know what the problem is.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I can help you with that. I had that same issue.
Yeah, I tried.
Go ahead. You had that problem, somebody?
Yeah. I did manage to fix it. It's a little weird, but it works. So I think if you look on your search bar, there should be a little pop-up window. If you click on that, it'll put it up on a whole new window.
On Chrome or Safari?
On Safari.
Okay, I'm gonna try.
All right.
Is this the pop-up blocker you're talking about?
Yeah, it likes to do that on Mac.
You gotta get rid of the pop-up blockers. Oh gosh, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not that familiar with Apple. I do have an iPad, but I only use it for one thing. Thanks for helping out there. I'm not very good at the Apple thing. Okay, I can't tell who's talking to me, but if you'll send me a message, I'll extend your time if you need it, because we're getting close to the due date. But we can extend due dates. Just don't take advantage of me too hard on that, okay? We need to get through this stuff. I mean, we can only extend so far. There is an end of the semester here. But if you get in a bind or something like where you're getting troubles getting started up, like with MindTap, you can't get in and can't get going, we can extend some time here. Okay, what else? Or you want to do more economics? Yeah, we didn't get enough economics today, probably, but I think we'll nail it on Thursday. We've got we'll have a full day Thursday. But I just wanted to give you a little extra time here and not get, for those of you who aren't in, not get too far behind, but please contact me if there are any issues. And here's something else while we're right here. You see where I'm pointing on the left side of my screen? MindTap customer support. Sometimes that's the key. If something's not working, click on that and it'll tell you how to get a hold of them, and they will be able to walk you through whatever's going on. And while we're in the neighborhood there, notice tutoring. There is tutoring available. Click on that, and that'll give you the information there. We've got a great tutor, and by all means, utilize her. So, great. Childress. You know, I always have to stop and think, because I grew up with a girl named Sue Ann Childress. And every time I have to stop, now wait a minute, it's not Sue Ann, it's Ann. And so there's the hesitation. So Ann Childress is our tutor. Okay, I'm out of gas here, guys, unless you have another question. Let's meet again Thursday, and be sure to contact me here, Blackboard Messages, if whatever's going on, if there's any issues. And I'll see you Thursday then. All right?
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Take care.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.